Hello, welcome back to another episode of SuperCoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for having us for our SuperCoach analysis of
Essendon Bombers, which are very SuperCoach relevant this year, which is cool.
And for those that are following on Twitch and YouTube, we thought we would start with a great Essendon highlight of the Essendon vs Carlton game.
Yeah, look, why not? I mean, if you can, I don't see why you wouldn't want to rewatch these highlights. I mean, this was definitely the best game of their year.
Yes, and we're starting after half-time, which is where everything went...
pear-shaped?
Yeah, pear-shaped, but look, I think... Essendon did have some SuperCoach relevant players in this year, particularly Devon Smith, who just slotted one there, I believe. He had a great year.
Yeah, he did.
And they did get a really good recruit. I can't believe they got Dylan Shield.
I think they were surprised they got him.
I know. I think, you know what it was?
Essendon didn't think that they would get him. They thought 100% he was going to Carlton.
What it was is everyone was pitching for this guy, so they're like, everyone's doing it. We might as well throw our hat in the ring too.
And they're like, we got
streaking.
him.
Everyone's doing it.
The gymnasium.
Yeah, so they're like, well, we'll put our hat in the ring, and instead of
see what happens.
Well, yeah, their jet was broken. Apparently, they had pretzels on board and had to make an abrupt landing with Goddard trying to go home. But in the end, they just went to a cafe and sold him. Figure.
Good on them, because I mean, they're now. Now they have no excuses though. Here's the thing.
Yes.
They've got some pretty big free agents over the last couple of years thinking that they're poised to enter the 8. Unfortunately ruined by this game over here. What
was even better is when they made the 8 and then Sydney thumped them the first one back. We made the finals.
Oh, look. And it's tough when you're 2 games a year they're guaranteed to play Collingwood pretty much every year. They play Collingwood twice.
Yes.
Including
and Collingwood's just hit their straps.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes things tough when you know that guaranteed 2 games are going to be against a team that have a history of, especially recently.
Not to mention, it wasn't just this game that's on at the moment, but the Sydney game. Mm-hmm. Their run and pace, and they took the game on because they were behind, and then they went ahead, and then they lost it to Rowan. Is it Rowan? It's Rowan.
Yes.
Oh,
that was great.
Yeah, they should have won that game as well.
They do play with a fast pace, and I think
they are entertaining.
Yeah, look. I mean, essentially, at the end of the day, after beating they beat the grand finalists in Adelaide in round 1, right? They had a really great first game, but then they lost 6 of the first 8 games, and that's it. That was them done for the year. They just couldn't recover. They won 10 of the next 14, but it was done by then.
Oh, here comes Kerridge.
Oh.
About to be delisted, lines up, and...
and there it goes. The delisting happens.
Smokes it. Career highlight.
Enjoy the VFL. Sorry, too far. Look, outside of the Dreamtime thumping of 71 points, their 3 defeats in the second half of the season were to the Pies, which was only 16 points, Hawks 4 points, and the Tigers for 8 points. So they are in and around that mix, and they've added another quality draft in, obviously, Dylan Shield. They could be top 8, maybe top 4. That's how good their season could be. So I know we're having a bit of a laugh with the reaction at the moment, but they could really do anything this year, and that's really what's surprising with Essendon, that they really, really, really could hit quite a big mark, and I think that top 4 is not out of the question for someone like Essendon this year.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
Well, they definitely have the team that they can do it with. If Joe Danaher gets on the field as well, provides an amazing option. Hurley, without any injury issues, would be good as well.
Yep.
I actually quite like Essendon. I like watching them, and I do wish them good things for this year. I think it's good for the AFL.
Yeah.
If they're up and about.
I agree. And same with Carlton. It's good for the AFL if Carlton actually do end up at some point getting better.
It'd be good for the AFL if the Suns would stop.
It'd be great for the AFL. It'd be great for me if the Suns would start winning.
For everyone that's like, get Tasmania aside. Gold Coast isn't going anywhere.
While there's struggling teams in the league, we should not be looking. And I know that Gold Coast and Judo, everybody hates them because they're not a Melbourne-based team, and the AFL basically propped them
and
up.
Tasmania is close to Melbourne, so let's just take that on board. But
you deal with the existing issues before you tackle front.
But the AFL, I said, they're in for the long haul. They're not going anywhere. They're going to keep on with the Suns until they're successful, until it's a growing market in the Gold Coast.
It's a lucid market.
Secondly...
Not lucid, liquid market. Sorry.
Tasmanians are having a sook, and then they're like, well, we're just not going to go to the games in Tasmania to put a stand, and we're going to protest. We're not going to go to these games. But if they don't go to the games...
It's just more evidence that you're not
the
going to get a
AFL is
team.
going to be like, there's not enough support in Tasmania, so you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Just get over it. They're not moving.
I agree. I don't know what they're
I
doing.
would love to see Tasmania have a fit.
I
like
would
a
prefer.
team,
This is
but
the idea that
like,
I don't know if you
just
said this to me. Make Alice Springs the Vegas of Australia and have a sporting team in the middle of the country. That would be sick.
I didn't say that to you, but I wish I did.
Yeah, like literally, like make a strip, bright lights, massive like area of of gaming and Sin City essentially with a mecca for. I mean, the Northern Territory has talent like it's going out of fashion. You could definitely get people there. The problem is obviously temperature and who's going to want to play there.
I thought you were talking about ladies. I was like, what are you talking about talent?
No.
The best part is, Chris, is that they could actually put solar panels out because we have a lot of good solar options that we could do.
Yeah, well, they
could actually do a solar farm to pump out and run the Las Vegas in the...
So we just by the way, from the AFL, and you just heard that. Yeah,
desert.
You're right.
Yeah.
We actually own 20% of all the land there. And no, just not kidding. Look, let's get back onto the task at hand. So Essendon's draw. So they have the 6th hardest draw according to Champion Data, which isn't amazing. But they play Collingwood, GWS, North Melbourne, who are obviously on the improve, Sydney and Freo. So that is hard because I see Collingwood and GWS as probably top 8. North as wanting to hit top 8 and improving their team. Sydney have been in top 8 forever. And Freo, who are also improving, however, they're not easy beats. But they are obviously a team that can do
Fremantle
that,
need to change the way they play.
So Dave Swizzer said the Bombers are the most irrelevant Supercoach team of 2019. Zach Merida, move on.
Yeah, someone said, what's going on? I thought you were live. Sitting in a coffee shop waiting for Lockie Neal.
Very cool. Who is this? Z from Oz. Whoever you are, best call. Call the stream. Thanks very much. All good. So look, I actually do think that there are relevant people for more for draft, but there is some standard relevancy. So we'll go through that. They also have the early buy, so you could actually have these players as upgrade targets.
Yes,
which is an option. So we could do that as well. And they share the buy with Freo, Hawks, Power, Saints, and Dogs. So of those teams, probably the more relevant team is Essendon. So you could definitely target some of these players as people that you upgrade after the buy.
You're looking at except for Titch and Fife. That's about it, really.
Yeah, I mean Power.
And unless you're going to
still exist.
And Dogs, I guess, in the forward line. If
not touching any. Don't at me, bro. I'm not touching a single Western Bulldogs player this year. Not even unless they're a rookie. Maybe not even then. That's you, Bevo. You've done this to yourself, all right?
So, hey, would you pick a Fremantle player then as well? Or are you off Dogs and Fremantle players completely? Except for rookies,
No, Fremantle's gone all right. I'm more on the Ross Lyon train now that he's blooding the youth. Go Ross Lyon, Just get him in here.
I can't believe you just said that. In my Fremantle podcast, I have literally put down ones to watch, Ross Lyon. Don't trust that slippery gypsy.
Spoiler alert. Tomorrow's podcast.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Look, okay, so let's go through their off-season. So their ins was the big one, which is Dylan Shield.
Yes.
Who they lost is relevant too. Travis Collier, who didn't play many games this year, but he was their real pacey small forward. So there is a spot there. Brennan Goddard, so there's another spot there. Jackson Merritt and Josh Green. So two of their real pacey forwards they've gotten rid of. So there's a spot there for a rookie or someone coming through that hasn't necessarily had enough game time yet as that small forward option. So I do. The other thing is what happens with Devon Smith, but we'll get to that. I do think that Dylan Shield is a massive in, and should we just start off with Dylan Shield?
Yeah, I think so. I think Dylan Shield is amazing, except he has 2 bung shoulders and never seems to hit the hype. As in, I like him. I love him as a player. I think he's going to be great for Essendon. I think he's a great get. However, 2 bung shoulders and, a dodgy knee. What do you... I don't know. I like him. I think he'll be great for them, but I don't know if I could pick him in Supercoach because even in previous years where he has started off amazingly at 120, he still dives off a cliff.
Yeah, and a lot of it's to do with, first of all, his role. He never got really complete mid-minutes when he was at GWS. He always played too much forward, in my opinion. So part of it is role, but, obviously with the GWS and the mids that they had,
He can still hit the scoreboard though, running through, which is amazing.
Yeah, which is great. But he's more of a stoppage generator for scoring. In my personal, I think he's a stoppage expert.
He'll still be the highest averager for the club in Supercoach.
You reckon this year?
100%. There's a bet for you.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know, but it's here's the thing. He's 487k, so he's super cheap. as an option. I have more of the opinion that he actually props others up as opposed to that. I think Zach Merritt's the person who averages the most.
Oh, geez, good thing you didn't take that bet.
Can we rewind? We're on a 30-second delay here.
I forgot about...
Can we rewind?
No, I forgot about Zach Merritt.
So I think Zach Merritt's the one that really benefits the most?
Yeah, Dylan Shield will be the second highest averager in the club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Good thing you didn't just... I would have shaken your hand then.
All right. So, but I think he more impacts the other players in the team increasing rather than him. I think that he'll probably, if he does go, I think he might average about 100. I doubt. I don't know if he can average 105, 110. That's a big stretch.
I reckon he can go 105, 104,
I think
104.
It's about his points per minute, right?
Yeah.
It's about his game time. He's never really been able to string together seasons where he's played 85% time on ground, which is all of the premium mids across AFL play 85 to 90%. Like all of the real top tier mids.
Oh, top tier, yeah.
They play 85 to 90% time on ground. That's not going to happen with Dylan Shield. So, but when he is on ground, he scores points. So if he was to somehow push that, whether it's fitness related, whether it's his body, or whether it's coaching, I'm not sure. But if he can somehow increase his PPM, sorry, not his PPM, his time on ground.
Yep. Oh, yeah, points per minute, time on ground, yes. That
would be great. Now let's quickly go through the rookies. So they picked up Irving Mosquito, which was their first pick at pick 38.
Yes, Mosquito. They were happy.
That Essendon believe he's the best small forward in the draft.
Yeah, and the Hawks didn't want him.
No, which is strange.
They didn't even have to shift positions that much. But
so Hawks could have had him as a academy selection, I believe.
Yep.
Look, with Collier going out and Josh Green going out, there's definitely a lot more room in the forward line this year. So is he going to start round one? Maybe, maybe not. But he's got a chance at some stage this year to play AFL games of football. He's slight. He's obviously really light and really tiny. He's 176 centimetres and 72 kilos, but he's obviously that evasive, quick, small forward. He's not designed to be a big, bulky. He's designed to be a small pressure forward who can run around and do his thing and blah, blah. I don't know whether that's going to necessarily transmit to a lot of SuperCoach scoring a la, say, a Jared Garlett or a...
I'll tell you what's going to happen, Chris. He's going to get there. He's going to absorb all of the information from everybody else. And like a typical mosquito, he's going to absorb from other people. He's going to get fatter with knowledge.
And then smacked. And then injured for the rest of the year.
And then...
We could have a lot of fun with a guy called Irving Mosquito.
And then you can just cash him out. Catch you later. Mm-hmm. No, I think he'll be a good option. Let's see how he goes. Yeah.
Let's see how he goes.
Absorb, fatten him up.
He missed the under-18 championships through injury, so maybe that's why he slid so much. But I think that he will get games this year. He's currently in my side just because I think he'll play.
Yeah,
but,
it's all speculation.
We'll see how he goes. We've got Noah Gorn at pick 60, key forward prospect. He turned down a scholarship in the US for basketball to focus on AFL. Essendon pretty much considers him a blank canvas. He's got an AFL ready body. He's 194 centimetres and 91 kilos, which basically is a point guard in the NBA.
Yeah. So just Dave Swiss saying Zach Merritt 110 to 115, and then Shield, Hip, and Smith all around 100. So which I agree with. I just seen Dylan Shield pips those, and Hip would only ever gets. I mean, Heppel only ever gets 100, 101 anyway. So yeah. No, I think.
Braden Ham, pick 72, project player, but the Dons have a lot to work. We tested elite in sprint and endurance tests. Impressively came in second behind Sam Walsh in the Geelong Falcons best and fairest. He's 180 centimetres and 65 kilos, so he needs to go to the gym. He needs to start working out. Tom Jock is another rookie. Blew everyone away with his endurance results in the off-season. Essendon quoted as saying he should come into the club at close to the best athlete at the club. He's 21, so he's a mature age rookie, and played in Collingwood's VFL team last season in defence. Can play tall or small, is 193 centimetres and 80 kilos as a mature age rookie. So watching the JLT, he could be one to start early or get early games. Played in the VFL, played very well, and I'll be surprised if he doesn't get games this year.
Well, I don't know, Chris. Like a typical jock, his appearance might be brief.
Well done. One joke. That's what you're allowed. One joke per podcast. That's it. That's where we've got to draw the line.
Well, it was either that or a Jock Reynolds joke, which...
yeah, right.
Yeah, just like their webpage fell a bit short.
Hello, Jock Reynolds.
Just like their webpage fell a bit short. Oh, the good old days.
Could be wrong.
The good old days.
Okay, now let's just move into the premiums, and I'm going to start off with a little left centre because we've already gone through Dylan Shield.
Yes.
Hurley, humming along nicely in the first 7 games of the season, averaging 103, and then he got injured.
Yes, which we said would happen.
And then finished the year averaging 90. Just fell off a cliff completely. But here's the thing. Essendon started winning and they changed their style of football. So Hurley gets his points from sitting behind the ball and either intercepting the ball or he gets cheap 1-2, switches to the wing, gets a kick back, takes them up, uncontested possession. That's how Hurley scores his points.
Yeah, he's the Lockie Hunter of defence.
100%. They changed their style of football and started being more attacking and going down the corridor, and it completely, instead of handballing out to a vacant Hurley or kicking to an uncontested Hurley, they're going straight down the line and using their pace to kill teams.
Yeah, it's like a little town that has a highway that just bypasses them.
Right. So, if they continue that style of football, there's no way you can choose Hurley in 2019. I think he's not going to be anywhere near top 10 if that's the case. But you could look at him as an upgrade option. So what I'm thinking is just see how he goes for the first part of the season. There's no way I'm at 491k.
Yep.
There's no way I'm choosing him as an option. So
that's fair. I think there's upside on other people, and you could always upgrade him later on if he has a good run.
Yeah, fair call. Now, Devon Smith, you were saying you loved his year.
Oh, I thought he had a great year, but he got so much of the ball. He was more fantasy relevant rather than SuperCoach. He still had a great year for SuperCoach.
Yep.
But he needs to improve his disposal efficiency in order to actually become more relevant.
Frustrating is the way to put it because he took games by the scruff of the neck and
so
was
many tackles,
literally dragging them over the line sometimes.
Heaps of tackles and then would butcher it.
Led the league in tackles, butchered the ball like it's going out of fashion, but he was in everything. I reckon he got robbed sometimes as well. SuperCoach gods robbed him of some decent scoring. There were times where I was like, he tackled and he kicks the ball and he doesn't get the stat for a contested possession from the winning the free kick. Like, I don't know what was going on, and maybe that was just me watching it live and it not happening properly. But I just saw so many times. I'm like scrolling and refreshing the SuperCoach scores, and I'm like, hold on, there should be another 4 points there. I don't know. It just seemed like he got destroyed from SuperCoach. Like, the champion data just don't like him.
But compared to when we picked him as to where we thought we would go, he was still a success.
Yeah, I thought it would be better. Yeah. Well,
you picked him very early. I thought he'd be around the 100 mark.
Yeah. This year is interesting because he finished this year averaging 97.9. He's 531k as a forward midfielder, which makes him premium, like D1, D2. Like, if you're going to select him, you're going to have to pay through the nose to get him.
You have to.
But out of the midfielders in that group, so we're looking at Shield, Heppel, Smith, who else we got? Merritt, etc. Smith is the one that lends to a forward craft more.
Yeah.
So is Shield coming in? Does that mean that Smith moves more forward? Is he playing more full pocket this year? Less midfield?
But Essendon still have a flaky midfield with Myers and stuff anyway. So
that's what I mean.
He should be fine.
They've got guys like Myers, they've got guys like Parrish, they've got guys that all play that mid forward or a little bit forward, more forward than mid or whatever. But what does Devon Smith do this year?
I think
is he still the exact same role, or is it changed?
I think it could affect Parrish and Langford more.
Yeah, and Langford and Myers. Yep.
I don't know. We'll have to see how they line up, but I am with you there. I think
the question mark just means I can't pick him.
Yeah,
that's for me.
I'd rather pick a Heaney.
I wouldn't be against people picking him.
Well, Heaney would be a similar price point. I'd rather go a Heaney with a little bit more upside.
Heaney does have upside because you've got people leaving that midfield too. So,
especially not having Glangela this time of year too. So. Could be good options there. I'm
conflicted about Devon Smith in terms of what now. Maybe in the JLT, maybe he comes out, plays pure midfield, and you lock him in.
Yep.
I'm not sure, but that question mark for me just means that he could go down 10 points per game, or he could go up 10 points per game. Like, I don't know where that's going to be. So for me, it's a wait and see, and after the buys.
Yeah, I don't see him much over a 105 or 102 even.
Again, a guy that you could definitely say if he's going well, upgrade him after the buy. Have him for the rest of the year. That's my personal opinion.
Yep. Or if he's low enough ownership, then maybe be brazen.
Yeah, true. Dyson Heppel. What do you think about Dyson Heppel?
Oh, you
said before, 100-ish.
Well, basically, he's the Trent Cotchin of Essendon as far as SuperCoach draft goes. Except the reliable Trent Cotchin didn't actually do that well this year.
Yeah.
Had a great year.
Played well
for the team.
Good football player. Same
for the
with
team,
Heppel.
yeah.
Great footy player.
SuperCoach,
Just not really SuperCoach relevant.
draft relevant. If you get to the point where you're not trying to pick upside, you're just trying to get someone to do a job for you. Like any team, really. Good player. I do rate him. He might actually get a little bit more. Now that other guys are doing a bit of the bulk, he might actually be able to get a little bit more around the place. Yeah, but even if he gets cheap ball, he'll still average a 102.
I saw someone saying on Twitter recently, why can't Dyson Heppel go 110 plus? Like, he's got all the attributes to do it. And the fact of the matter is, he's just never done it before. No. So I don't think just adding a midfielder means that all of a sudden he's going to average 110.
And it's consistency.
He's
never been consistent to be able to string week in, week out those performances.
Big scores,
Sometimes he gets in and does it all. Sometimes he lets other people do it and he just chips away.
He'll go 140 in round one, then he'll go 80 the next week.
Yep.
That's
what I mean. Like, he lets other people do the bulk and then he chips around and does the team thing.
Yeah.
How you doing, mate? You doing
Great
well?
Footballer, though. Love watching him play. Good footballer.
I think he's great at it. But
and look, 7 years, missed 6 games.
Yeah.
Consistent for draft purposes.
That's a lie.
3rd, 4th midfielder.
He missed the whole year.
Missed 6 games since debuting 7 years ago. Maybe.
And he missed the whole year.
Let's have a look at
the saga. It's the saga.
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't.
You can't miss. There's more
from injury.
There's more than 6 games.
Okay. Well, if you want to include that, then sure.
Ha. Don't make me laugh.
But yeah, since he actually was playing.
Yeah, injured. Yeah, fair call.
From injury, he's only missed 6 games since debuting. So a great draft choice, because you just have that guy that can punch out 100 most weeks, But he's not going to ever be the one the difference between winning and losing. You know what I'm saying?
Fair call.
Now, before we get on to the next part, I just want to... I've got a little highlights video to...
Good old Zachy Merritt.
Hold on one moment. I do this. That's not...
That is just one click away.
Sorry, I just had a bit of a technical issue with my mouse, which didn't really work. Just going to play a little Zach Merritt highlights, because he is our highlighted player of Essendon. I think that he's the one that definitely has the most benefit.
Well, he was knocked out round 1 on 17, so his price dropped hugely. I actually considered bringing him in when he was that cheap, expecting him to be able to turn it around.
Yep.
And he did throughout the year. So he's definitely underrated. He is undervalued, particularly for draft even. Like, so many of the first round picks from last year or anywhere from that pick 5 to pick 15 in draft, like the highest averages, are cheap.
Yep.
Rory Sloane, Matt Crouch, Zach Merritt, Zorko was there.
They all just fell off a cliff, didn't they?
Yeah, but doesn't mean that they're not quality players. So as in, for those players, you could easily pick them up in a 2nd or a 3rd round in draft, and then they're the best vice-captain options. Because if they come out and hit their straps, you're looking at a guy who should have been a 1st-round pick almost, or even a 2nd round. You might be getting a 3rd round, depending on how cluey your mates are. But I think they're great options. Yeah,
well, I mean, he's 544k, but he was knocked out in round 1 on 17, so he has a higher true average. He also had a 10 game... in the last 10 games of the season, averaged 113. He's well unders. And the reason why he actually was underperforming this year was because he was getting tagged in games. And he's sort of learned to work way through that at stages.
Yes.
But Dylan Shield coming in means that if you're tagging anyone, you're tagging Dylan Shield.
Yeah, well, Dylan Shield gets shut down. He's
100%.
the damage man for GWS. They were tagging him at GWS.
Exactly right.
No, I'm with you.
So I definitely think that Zach Merritt, he's not... I wouldn't say he's 100% lock. I wouldn't say, throw away the key.
Well, you can do without him. I think it depends on ownership. It depends on his preseason.
Yeah.
But I am looking at him. Even, like I said, in draft, I'm looking at going possibly even 3 or 4 heavy straight midfields because of the amount of value there. Guys that are sitting a little bit lower.
Yep.
Other guys will be looking at them, but you could get 3 vice captain options so easily this year.
Yeah.
By going straight up value, bang, 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 getting
there is a lot of value
premiums.
in midfield, which is important this year because the expensive rucks, expensive defenders, expensive danger in the forward line. I mean, if there's not 100% ownership of Dangerfield, something's wrong.
But see, you could easily go straight up and get yourself a Grundy, a Matt Crouch, and then get a Zach Merritt or a Zorko.
Yeah.
And be able to fill out your...
all potential 110s.
Yeah.
Averages.
And still get a great a ruck option. Or just go bang, 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 and go straight up.
The ones that are going to kill you is the Tom Mitchell, the Patrick Cripps, like those real super expensive Uber premiums.
Yes.
is it worth that extra 100,000 for
for standard? That's
for
where
a
it hurts you.
Cripps, or 150,000 for a Mitchell?
Yes.
It's a lot of money.
Correct.
I think the midfield is where you can have a little bit more flexibility this year. And I think there'll be a lot of people that will only start, say, one of the Cripps or Mitchell, and then
it's funny because last year I was questioning whether the ones that hadn't been there before, whether they were worth it.
Yeah, right.
Matt Crouch hadn't been there before. Oliver hadn't been there before. Dusty Martin hadn't been in the top 10 mids before. So I was questioning all these guys, and everyone's like, "Oh no, they're a sure thing." And I was like, "Well, no one's a sure thing," because I was considering Hanbury at the point, which obviously lucky I didn't do. But I'm like, "But how do you don't know these things?" Right. But what it's proven then is now you've got guys that were good the year before who have now dropped in price, other guys that have overtaken. So now it's kind of like the flip side compared to what I was saying last year. There's so much value. Like, why can't you pick a guy who has been a top 10 pick previously? Why can't you pick one of these guys?
Yeah.
Whereas it's kind of flipped because now people are like, well, hang on, you can get a Matt Crouch, you can get a Zach Merritt, you can get a Zorko, you can get all these other players that have actually
Taylor Adams.
No, but guys
that
have been there previously.
Yeah.
And I think people this year are more willing to actually kind of go, well, I'm going to pick them based on value because they can and should, or I think they're going to be a top 10. And the ones that are there at the moment, the top 10 mids, there's not as much certainty because it can easily fluctuate. Which is a very interesting year, and I'm keen
there's
to
more locks in, say, forward and defence than there are in, say, midfield.
Yes, correct. And
midfield's where it's going to be.
And even premium defenders, there's a lot of fluctuation in how you're going to structure up, which cheaper options you're going to go with.
This year in SuperCoach is a great year.
I'm keen to look at the point of differences and look for some great options this year. So.
Now, lastly, we'll just move on to some mid prices. I'll just transition this on back. There we go. Essendon. Here we go. So we're now looking at some mid prices. There's a couple of juicy ones, but really most of the Essendon players that are SuperCoach relevant are all premiums.
Yes.
We do have two that I want to look at, and there are more ones to watch. Aaron Francis is someone that I think could average okay. He got a chance to prove himself, and he averaged a respectable 80 over the last 5 games of the season, which is when he played. So he didn't play for the whole year, played the last 5 games. He had a low of 42 and a high of 104, and yet still averaged 80 behind the ball. Played really good and looked dominant in the air. He's gone over in the off-season. He's hired his own personal trainer. He's gone to the nth degree, getting super fit for hopefully round 1. And I think that he could really make an impact. Unfortunately, it's 350k, so for standard, I probably wouldn't touch him with a bar of soap.
Correct.
But he may be able to slip under your radar in draft and could be a really good option there. Same with Andy McGrath. Now, because of the introduction of... We're all waiting until Andy McGrath gets to go in the midfield, right?
We're all waiting. This could be the year.
I don't know.
Again,
like, how do they structure up? If he does, and this is why it's a one to watch, is... In draft, I could comfortably take him because he's not going to average less, I don't think, than what he did.
No, I think he'll at least go at what he is or above, except there's definitely upside there. Whether it's this year, whether it's next year, it's either make or break. If you get him at a good time and he goes bang, you look like a genius.
Yep, exactly right.
Otherwise, you look like a bit of a spud.
It's like the Oliver thing. Like, no one saw Oliver coming out and going bang, bang, bang. I mean, he obviously had a really good JLT.
It was like the other year when you picked Daniel Wells up as your F4 or F3, and everyone's like, you're mad.
Yeah, and then he comes out and goes, 106
you went,
or something.
You went nuts.
Yeah. So look, he could break out at any point in time, and we just don't know when that's going to be. But I'm happy to, field questions on it anyway. Interesting mid prices. So the other one's Danaher. I've got him down as another one to watch. I will not be starting with Danaher, but he's cheap enough to have a look at it. 270k.
Yeah, I think he's a great point option. If he gets going, then yes, but he's not training that well at the moment.
Yep.
So
he's still not training well.
I don't even know if he's going to start round 1. So for me, I'm not starting him. Even if he does start, I would rather bring him in than start with him.
You can't bring him in because 270k you lose too much value. Bring him in later.
I don't think he's going to start, so I'd rather.
I don't
think he's going to start. I think he's going to miss the first few games, and he's going to come out there and at least you get a look in.
Yeah.
And then if he goes bang bang bang, then yes, you can bring him in. But even then, I don't know.
He's a round 3 special, I reckon.
Yeah.
So if he performs in round 1 and 2, and you're like, okay, I've got to get on because I'm going to make 100k in week 3. That's the only way that I'm looking at Danaher.
Yeah,
I know
but
other people will be like, I've got the extra money, I'm just going to throw it into Danaher. He's averaged 86 before, he can get back to
But
that.
the only way you can be a round 3 special is if you're downgrading or side swapping.
Yeah, so let's say you take Adobe Green, for example. He comes out in round 1 and 2 and then gets injured. Or
Spud.
Yeah.
Or pulls a Cox on you.
Yeah. He goes to 40 or something. Mason Cox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing that. Yeah. So, I mean, look, so that's my preference in terms of a cheaper mid-price option right now.
Someone has to keep you honest, Chris.
Yeah, right. So I think that Danaher could be interesting, but not really for me. The other one that I've put down as a massive draft smoky. Don't listen to it in standard, but Tom Bellchambers. So I think he's one that will be a late ruck to go, even though he's 505k. Had his first real run at a full season. So he played his highest amount of games in a season in 20 and managed to average 93. Decent. Now, he could be anything. The problem is he's just come back from shoulder surgery. So he had post-season shoulder surgery. So I'm not sure if that's going to impact him with early games. If it is, and this is a lock, Zach Clark, who's at 142k, and they've just brought him over, who had a dominant season in the waffle. He should be considered, and I think he should be your starting 3, Zach Clark, because I think he might get games early. And they're mooting that they might even go to they've got, right now they're playing Sean McPherson, is that his name? What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
He's been playing, someone on Twitch, I'm sure, the live Twitch will correct me on that.
You're right.
But he's been playing, as that second, hit up ruck forward.
Yeah, he'll be gone.
So I think Zach Clark could overtake him, even though he played decent towards the back end of the year and during the year. I would hope that eventually it's going to be a ruck combination of Bellchambers and Zach Clark. And if that happens, you can't not have him at 142k. So,
yes, players to avoid?
Jake Stringer.
Well, I think that's fair. Maybe as a late 18-man draft league, you could pick up a Jake Stringer. No worries at all.
Yeah, sure.
I'm happy with that. And an 18-man, 12-man league, I doubt it unless you're really desperate. And I can't believe you put Darcy Parish.
I just don't know his role anymore. So where does he fit into their 20 and 19
Darcy
minutes?
Parish was a high draft pick.
I know,
He can play mid, he can play forward,
but he can he score SuperCoach points?
Correct. Now, granted, I was big on him at the start of the year and he was horrible.
Yeah.
Okay? But when he came back from round 17 to 23, 115, a 100, a 101 and a 96. So they're 4 good scores out of 7. And then his lower end, he got a 72, a 62 and an 84. So he finished the year pretty well.
Maybe it's just my bias working in. But if I'm Wisher and I'm looking at, okay, well, I want to have the best people playing in midfield that I possibly can. I've only got, let's say 40 mid-minutes to give someone. I'm giving those mid-minutes to Andy McGrath. I'm not giving them to...
I think they can get a natural spread. I think there's still enough room to move as far as midfield depth and actually getting rotations through. I think his talent alone and his natural progression, like he's averaged 80.3 for 15 games.
He's got good arms, so...
Yeah, Darcy, Miniguns, Parish. But
That's
you
true.
look at it, he got 72 points.
There we go.
He's gone up 4 points a game. McKernan, yeah, good call. Yeah. He's gone up 4 points every year, which means that there's no reason why he can't average 85 this year, which as a forward mid option is a pretty good option for draft.
For draft, yeah.
Yes.
No way near.
You can't say he's not relevant.
I'm not going to pick him because I don't know what role he's
I'd go there
be.
in draft. Hell,
I'll leave him for you then.
Hell, I'd go there in real life.
You would. All right, that pretty much wraps up our Essendon pod.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Enjoy, and we'll be with you again shortly.
Yep. Make sure to hit us up on our socials again. Sorry for the 5th blast in a very short time to those people watching us on stream, but obviously we're on Twitch at twitch.tv /SC_insider, on Twitter at SC_insider_.
Correct.
Facebook
Facebook.com/SC Insider.
Yep.
Wonderful.
And we're now on Spotify. Catch you soon, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers. Here we go. And we probably should have set this up earlier.